On behalf of Structure Magazine, welcome to day one of the Structure Solutions Software series. Thank you for joining us. We will begin today's presentations with structural design automation with SkyCiv's cloud software. Our presenters today are Trevor Soley, onboarding engineer, and Stuart Gale, API engineer. Trevor is responsible for the technical onboarding and support and sales effort in the United States and Canada. He has technical experience in structural engineering design and project management experience in the construction industry. Stuart is an experienced developer of structural engineering software with a PhD in structural engineering. He supports users in developing custom solutions and automating their structural workflows with the SkyCiv API. At this time, I will turn the floor over to Trevor to begin the presentation.
All right, we'll turn our fancy video on and we'll share the screen. Let's see. Make sure we get the right screen here. Okay, I think we're sharing the right screen. Thanks, Susan, for the introduction. Thanks everyone for joining the webinar. Hopefully you guys have some fun with it and we learn a little bit. And with that, let's just jump right in. So agenda-wise today, we're going to talk a little bit about the presenters, me and Stuart. We're going to talk a little bit about what SkyCiv is, where we come from, and then I'm going to highlight a couple of things on the platform side of it that really kind of give you a sense of what we're about from, again, the platform side, and then using all that type of introductory knowledge. I hand it over to Stuart. He's going to talk all about the API and automation and kind of get you into a case study, talk about how the API is actually used, and then at the end of the presentation, we'll get you guys started, give you our contact information, all that type of stuff. So thanks for introducing us, Susan. We'll breeze right through this, just put a voice to the face. But again, my name is Trevor Soley. I'm kind of the technical support sales lead here in the US, but I'll just let Stuart introduce himself quickly since we've already kind of gone over this.
Yeah, hi there. I'm Stuart and I'm the API manager for the Europe and US regions, looking at helping users to automate their workflows with our API.
Yeah, awesome. So again, thanks, just putting the voice to the name. So here's kind of a timeline just about us. So we were the version 1.0 of SkyCiv was released in 2015, but the first kind of rumblings of it were in 2013, just with a really simple bending moment diagram calculator. And then here are some of the kind of the milestones along the way up to 2020, where we have the most recent version of the API, which Stuart will be going over. So some of the things just that I wanted to point out is, we are cloud-based, so we are entirely accessible through a browser. That's kind of a big part of us. And right now, I think we serve over 160 countries and we've had over 200,000 registered users. And I think in terms of this number of structure solves, you see in 2017, we have 2 million solves. I think now we have 6.9 million. So we're definitely kind of on the upward trend. A little bit more about us and kind of our commitment and kind of what we rest our laurels on really comes down to the user experience, the power or the functionality, and then the flexibility. So the user experience, by that we mean just trying to make our software as easy as possible, so that not only an experienced engineer, but also a new entry-level engineer can get in to our software, sign up right away, and start getting value right away, and not have to wait 2, 3, 4 weeks and read hundreds of pages of manuals to get somewhere and get value out of the platform. And then kind of with that, wanted to just highlight how we're very user-focused, we're very engineer-focused. We spend a lot of time speaking with our users because we do have a live chat. We're very support-focused. So a lot of conversations are happening with our users and engineers to try and make the best user experience possible. On the other side of that coin, we have the functionality part of it. So we wanted to make it also as powerful as possible. So kind of balancing those two things so that we get, you have the functionality, the capability to do the analysis you need to, complete the designs you need to, get the deliverables you need to get. And then kind of a little bit of a sidebar on that is one of the things that we really strive for and our goals within that functionality column is the elimination of the black box effect. So most other softwares that we've seen, it's you put in, you get output out, and there's no real conversation about what happens in between. So, and I'll show you an example of on one of these later, but we try to include hand calculation level reports wherever we can and wherever possible. So that kind of helps alleviate that a little bit so that you can verify what you're putting in and you can verify what we're doing on our end. And then the last thing would just be flexibility, and that would be from a usage standpoint, but also a pricing standpoint. So again, I mentioned previously that we're cloud-based, so there's no installations, there's no upgrade fees, there's no maintenance or anything like that. There's no like new versions you have to download or pay for or anything like that. Everything is pushed to the browser, it's pushed to the cloud. You access it again just by logging into your account on Chrome or Firefox or whatever, and then you're off to the races. In terms of pricing as well, we noticed that in industry you either have to pay annually or you have to pay perpetual license fees and pay all these maintenance upgrade fees again, like I mentioned. So we found that that was a gap where we have the ability to offer just 1 month, 2 month, up to even a 6-month contract type of commitment, so that if you have engineering for, let's say, 2 months, but then you have some CA after that, you can be flexible in your usage. So that's something that we really try to hang our hat on as well. So I won't obviously read through everything here, but here's just a quick snapshot of kind of the capabilities part, the functionality kind of column that I was talking about previously. So breaking down between analysis, design, and then just some other really useful tools and kind of other products. But this would just be kind of the long list, short list, or what have you, of that capability. So I'll kind of just leave that up for a couple more seconds. And what I'll do now is just kind of show you the platform here. Let me try and find where's my share screen? There it is. Just to kind of give you a little bit of a context so that when Stuart's going through his API stuff, we can understand. So this would be the dashboard part of it. So this is where you sign up and you're a user with us. This is what you'd be seeing. Again, access to all the analysis software as well as the design software. And I won't go through everything, but you have your 3D analysis, you have your advanced beam analysis, you have your custom section analysis, custom section builder. Everything here you see is kind of integrated within each other to give you kind of try to give you the best experience. But there's a lot of things that you can do with just one fee that you pay to be on the platform. So it's not modularized where you have to add all these extra things. And the one thing I wanted to point out too is users that are signed on with us, they get grandfathered into any new updates that come on. So for example, the most recent update 2 weeks ago was the base plate design module, which was just added. So users that were on with us a month ago didn't have access to this. Obviously, it wasn't available. And then one day it just showed up on their dashboard. It showed up and they were able to use it day one. They didn't have to pay any extra modular fee, upgrade fee, anything like that. So we have users that have been with us for 4 years and they've had 4 or 5 extra modules just kind of added on to their current pricing because they've been with us for so long and they're taking advantage of that. So that's kind of the spiel for that, for the dashboard. Just wanted to give you a little bit of an overview of what that looks like. But in terms of just kind of giving you some context, this would be our 3D analysis module. So this is a very decent sized module with a lot of distributed loads here. And there's a lot of different model generation tools that you can use. But again, trying to keep this very brief so that Stuart can kind of take you through the more interesting things. But this is kind of what that would look like. We can toggle off all the visual things and stuff like that. But overall, we get a lot of positive feedback about just how this looks and how easy it is to get to this point and get to the generation. So I'll just touch on the analysis part of it. So again, keeping that kind of left and right side here, you can toggle on and off any of these analysis results. We have a grouping functionality that allows you to group members based on basically any criteria so that you can view any of their results that way. And again, just toggling on and off all this stuff, displacement, stress, if you have plates, all of those different plate stresses. And then on the back end part of it as a deliverable, we obviously have some kind of model-wide health checks, as well as some reporting that you can use to, again, get to that deliverable point, so that you can get something tangible from your results. And obviously, that's just a little quick 2-minute run through of just, again, what it looks like. And you'll see this again when Stuart's going through his process, but I just wanted to expose you guys to it. And then the last thing I'll show before I hand it back over to Stuart is kind of that black box thing that I was mentioning. So you get through the modeling part of it, you get through the analysis part of it. And then what's great is we have these hand calculation level reports for every single member that you design, where it's giving you all your design criteria up front. It's giving you all of the design forces up front. And then it's running through every single code check that we are also familiar with. And it's giving you the code references as well. So this is just a taste of kind of what we mean when we say we wanted to eliminate the black box effect. We want to make sure that you guys are comfortable with what we're doing and that you can actually verify and you're comfortable with what you're putting in. So this is just an example of one for a steel member. But there's also hand calculations for reinforced concrete for a bunch of different things. So that'll kind of just conclude what I have to share. Just kind of hope you guys enjoyed that introduction, and I'm going to hand it over to Stuart to kind of take you through the API.
Hi, everyone. So just looking into the API then now, with that 3D platform that we've got there on the SkyCiv website that you can interact with through the traditional user interface, what our API allows you to do is interface with that technology on the web using the API as a tool set. So you can write some code or you can link to it from another piece of software, and basically you can automate repetitive tasks. So this opens up a wide variety of automation workflows and ways to speed up your design process and kind of cut out the waste that you end up going through doing repetitive tasks like modeling and running analyses. And perhaps the best way to understand that is to take a look at a case study. So we'll look at this case study from MT Solar. MT Solar are a company based out in Montana in the USA, and they build solar frames, which I'll show to you now. So basically what they do is design and manufacture solar frames. So you've seen solar panels usually in remote areas, large arrays of panels in fields and things like that. And they create the actual frames that support them, and they do a full service of structural design and then actually manufacturing it and delivering it as well. And what they have with this type of structure is it's quite a repetitive type of structure, and they want to investigate a number of different design options before they go back to a client and quote a price. So they were finding in particular that they were spending a lot of time doing structural design of a simple frame, and then they were finding that they would quote a price to a potential customer and they wouldn't necessarily win that bid. So they wanted to really speed up that process of getting to a final quoted price. And we helped them do that by building them a custom API solution. So what you see on the screen now is not a piece of software that we produce for general consumption. This is a custom tool that we've built with MT Solar that works on our API technology. So what they can do with this is basically change their structure. So they can change the number of solar modules, and the structure behind it will kind of automatically update to give them the structure necessary to hold up those panels. And they can change various parameters of this model, and it will create everything for them. And then what they can then do with that is go ahead and send that to the SkyCiv platform for checking. So if we just enter a site address, and go ahead and check that one, it will actually use Google Maps to determine the latitude and longitude from that site address, and then take that data and generate the wind and snow loads for the structure using our inbuilt load generator tool. So that runs against ASCE 710, and in this particular case, the structure is classified as a freestanding wall. So after that has been run, after the loads have been generated, we run a full structural analysis on this, a full finite element analysis. And we also do a member-based design according to the AISC 360. And finally, we also do a foundation check to ATI 318. So what that's actually done is it's sent that model data over to SkyCiv, over to our platform. It's built a structural model, it's run the analysis, it's done the design, and then it checks as well whether that design is satisfactory. So is the structure and the sizing of the members adequate for the loads? And if it's not, it will go away and find a structure that does meet those criteria. So it will run several analysis and design loops until it finds a suitable structure. And as I say, this is something that we've built in conjunction with MT Solar against our technology. So this all is based on our API, and this is exactly the kind of thing that if you wanted to build solutions against our API, that we could work with you to build those kinds of things. So once we run that design, we can get a design summary, and we can look at things like the pile design for the foundation, pile foundation, and we can also extract any structural reporting out of that. So we can have a look at a full report for the full design, or we can look at reports for individual members as well. And if we just take a look at that one. So this gives us our location, the structure, the sections that we've got in there, the wind loading calculations, and basically everything we want to see to check that that design has gone away and been done the way we'd like to see it done. And finally, we can also open up that model in structural 3D. So the same platform that Trevor just showed you, we can actually see that model that has been created in our platform. So if you wanted to go away, or if MT Solar wanted to go away and do some extra design on this, maybe tweak a few things, they've got that structural model built and they can do that. So they were absolutely delighted with what we helped them build here, and it's really helped them stay competitive. As I say, cutting the time from sort of engaging with the customer and getting to a quote, winning the bid, winning the business, and delivering the final result as well. So it's really helped them. So looking under the hood of that, then how does that actually work? How do we get at the SkyCiv technology? It works on a HTTP request. So what that basically means is we send a JSON file, which is kind of like a structured text file that includes a lot of data about what the model should look like, how it should be built, and what kind of commands should be run. So we can set the model, we can save it, we can run an analysis, things like that. And then we send that over to the SkyCiv server, and then the SkyCiv server comes back with another JSON that includes a load of information about what's been done and the results that have been found. And pretty much any technology that allows you to make a HTTP request will let you do this. So that could be a desktop program, a web application, as in the case of MT Solar, or in fact, just a spreadsheet as well. So if we have a little look at what that looks like then, just in an actual piece of code. So I appreciate most people here are probably structural engineers, not necessarily coders, but this kind of shows the simplicity of the JSON format. So what we have, for example, is we have a list of the nodes that are going to be in the structure. So here, this really simple structure has just got two nodes, one at the origin, one some distance along the x-axis. And then we've got a member spanning between the two. And then we've got things like the section that is used for that member, the materials required, where the supports are, where the loads are. And if we just run that little script now, we can take a look at the request JSON that's gone to the SkyCiv servers. So take a look at that in there. That's basically sort of what I showed you in that little piece of code there, in the format that has gone to the servers. And if we go to the response file as well, we can see what's come back from the server as well. So in this particular case, we ran an analysis. So we get, for example, an array of all the displacements along the member that we've done. And we also get a link, which lets us load up the structure again in the platform. So there's that 2-node structure with a 1 member between them, as I showed you. So one of the things is that that JSON file, because it is a quite complicated text file, obviously it's not necessarily practical to kind of create that text file yourself, whether that's writing out by hand or actually writing some code to generate it. So we have created packages for JavaScript and Python languages, which really speed up that process. So again, acknowledging that not many people here maybe know programming code, but I think we can all sort of appreciate what does this do. We've got a model, we have some nodes in it, and we add some, and we go through and we add each node, and then we add each member. We can add things like plates, sections, materials, supports. And you can see that this model is considerably more complex than the previous one. So if we just run that one as well, and we'll take a look at what that generates actually up on the platform as well. So just that's churning away in the background. And we'll just bring that back up. And there we have a nice little model that we've built from our code. So what can the API do? Pretty much anything that you can do with our original software. So all of those features that Trevor showed you earlier, you can access those through the API as well. So basically anything you want to do, building models, running analyses, running design, getting reports out, you can do all that stuff through the API. So how to get started? We have a number of resources available for this. So extensive documentation. We actually produced a free programming course as well. So if you're really ambitious and want to try and build something, but you literally starting from zero, you can go on that course and have a look. And we'll also support you through our developer community and tailored professional support, whether that be from myself or colleagues in Australia as well. And finally, don't forget to go to the URL on the page here. You'll get access to an extended 30-day trial of both the full platform in the web, so the usual structural software, and the API as well, and we'll support you building any API solutions you want to try out. And that's it from us, and we'll now take questions.
Sure. So as you were talking, Stuart, thanks for showing that. A couple questions came in. I know I answered them. But I just wanted to make sure that if we ran out of time, I answer them. So the couple questions, I'll start with one is, do you have seismic design included? It's yes and no, definitely. We have currently support dynamic frequency analysis and response spectrum analysis. And those would be the two that you could use for your structure. But we are, again, part of the reason we're very engaged with the users is we're talking about what's most important. And I believe we're working on the base shear application method for seismic design. So that's one question. The other question is, can the FEA model be exported to Revit? And it actually can be exported to Revit. So you can take any SkyCiv model, export it as Stuart was saying, it's JSON file, and then use that as an import for for your model in Revit. And then conversely, we do have a plugin with Revit as well that it allows you to export your Revit model directly to SkyCiv, and it'll grab all of the loads that you've had applied in there, all the geometry, all the sections, all that stuff. But also the newest version of the plugin allows you to actually run the analysis and run the design within Revit. Let me see, there's some more questions coming in here. Do we have any support for Canadian codes? Yeah, we do support CSA, and I'm not sure off the top of my head what they're called, but we do support the steel Canadian code. We do support the Canadian concrete code. And I think we're working on adding the Canadian wood code as well. But I know for sure steel and concrete Canadian codes are there. So that's that one. And then can wind loadings be modified to meet specific city ordinances? When you put in a location on our wind calculator, it will use kind of Google to pinpoint that address. So it'll grab the snow loads depending on specifically what the code says. And I'm not sure if you can manipulate it. I think you might be able to actually say, like, override what the design pressure is, but without knowing what specific what ordinance you're talking about, or what specific ordinance there is, it's kind of hard to answer exactly. There's a little bit of manipulation you can do within the wind load generator, but there's also there's some things that you can't change. But snow and stuff, you can add like custom drift loads and all that type of stuff. My best recommendation is get on there and try it. We do have the free tool, and then as well as the extended 30-day trial that we just showed you, that is more than the 14-day trial. So hopefully that was good. Another question coming in: what is the best way to get more information on collaborating together to get a custom API built? I'll just mention that just get in touch with Stuart and I. Stuart's very, very motivated on helping people get kind of walk them through what that process is like. So that would be the first thing. And then obviously, if you want to learn more about the API itself, we have extensive documentation on it. There's that Udemy course that will kind of get you up to speed with some of the programming stuff, as well as a developer community and all that. And again, we can help facilitate, getting to that point. But I would say just contact Stuart or I, and we can definitely help you with that. I don't know if you have anything to add for that one, Stuart, but.
Yeah, exactly that. And just we can circulate links to those resources that are mentioned afterwards as well, so you can go and have a look at those in your own time as well.
Right. Do you want to pull up just that link before we finish up here, the landing page? So
yeah, sure.
Again, usually when you sign up, normally you get that we offer a 14-day trial, but if you go to skyciv.com/structure, you'll get a boatload of free API credits, as well as the 30-day extended trial, which even if you don't end up actually wanting to end up using the API, you get 30 days of free access to the platform side of it, which I was showing you. So all of the tools that you would get normally. But yeah. I don't know if we have time for one more question, Susan, or not, but we do have one more.
Sure, I think this will be the last one.
Okay. So the one question was, what is your QA process like? So definitely a good question. All of our releases / features are built by structural engineers who are now programmers, and they're tested thoroughly internally. And then additionally, we have kind of an automated tested, Stuart is a fancy word for it, automated regression testing framework that basically takes 1,000 models and it compares all of our new kind of updates and stuff. It compares the new actual results to the expected correct results. So we're double checking, making sure that the results are the same. And then obviously on the back end part of it for the design, we try to make that as transparent as possible with the hand calculation reports and stuff like that, just to try and give you kind of the sense of what our QA is like. But yeah, it's good questions.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Thank you, Trevor. Thank you, Stuart and SkyCiv, for that presentation. Again, if you have additional Q&A, you can continue to put those in, and we will share those with Trevor and Stuart. They can reach out to you directly.
Absolutely.